Matchup here between these two teams. Paul gets the Tiamat for himself, and Baronic on the Merlin. That's apparently starting to get a little more popular.
It's a pick that Baronic has a lot of experience playing back from his SPL days. Got a lot of experience lining up against the young man on the Battleground of Gods on that exact pick. But I think that Paul on this Tiamat kind of puts the game on a timer a little bit. Aggro alluded to it last week and on the desk that Tiamat takes a lot of time to get her feet under her, but once she does, is incredibly strong. Whoa. But it doesn't necessarily fit Paul's play style as a Roar. Looking for an invade?
And Roar has horrific emblem as well. Blink on in, emblem dropped. SOT on his blue buff, picks it up under the body, blocks it up. They look like that just sucks. That sucks, man. SOT can't do anything about it. He drops his blue buff. Actually, no, the Titans steal it away anyway. And SOT 0 for 1, 40 seconds in towards Zapman here, but Zapman's level 5 and has beads. That tends to be the area where this Heimdall becomes so difficult to kill off. Layers over here on the duo side of the map as well. Cyclone Spin, a chance to escape if need be. Aurora pushed back right into the breaking and are a few of the Solar Scarabs. Big ultimate connects from Zapman. Can Cyclone Spin do enough damage to slow down the kill? Emblem drops, but so does Aurora. The Solar Scarabs have answered back. It's a leap in from Cyclone Spin, and that's because Scary D lurking off to the right-hand side. Scary D gets the kill, but it's a double from Layers. Pushed on back as inbound might end up falling here to Scary D. A double for Scary D out of the jungle. 2 for 2 trade.
Zapman sticking around, maybe too long. Paul's behind you, bud. Gotta teleport out quickly. Is gonna be able to ride the Bifrost and make himself scarce. That is a tough situation for Cyclone Spin, who jumps in just a little bit too early. Could have played around the edge a little bit longer, but maybe he thinks to himself, gotta jump in, gotta...
Merlin, if you go into that cooldown as well, but now more brewing over here on the left side of the map. Zapman slowed and ulted by Scary D. There's a knock-up and a knock-back, and that's going to keep himself alive for the time being. Layers collapsing in. First pal-outs of the game. One connects onto Scary D, and there's no beads for the Nemesis and no chance to stay alive. But now it's Paul rotating over from mid, but Baronic has done the same. The Merlin's in the backline, has to flicker away, but it's only as far as the walls from Aurora. Somehow SOT survives on the right-hand side of the map, and it's a one pick for none. Solar Scarabs ahead.
SOT almost got caught out on a lazy back on that right-hand side. Utilize this Kuzenbo and this Daji before the Titans are able to get all the CC immunity in the world.
Well, Scarabs have 3 blinks in their active pool, and they got a Gold Fury pull. Cyclone Spin, a chance to steal away, but no, he doesn't have his ultimate. He's going to have to get it done with the auto attack. The ultimate comes up just after the Fury. What is that damage? Onto Inbound, who has to blink away. And Layers has to escape as well. The Tartarus Titans a bit slow on the collapse, and the Scarabs get a big early objective.
That's a
same for whatever it means when a support just walks into your blue buff when you're trying to do it at that yeah, uber cringe gank there from Aurora. Otherwise the soul laners wouldn't have seen much action like Paul is seeing now. Look at the dive onto this Tiamat. Some damage return. Palal's used as well. Aurora going the opposite way. And Paul, I don't know, Miff, there's no chance. Dead to rights the moment you see that many Scarabs walking towards him.
I don't know, man. Aurora can literally assemble walls, like throw one up, try and help your man out a little bit. Paul, who used to have goose eggs, now 0-1 to a 4-man dive from the Solar Scarabs. And now the Tartarus Titans are engaging?
And they're engaging onto Inbound, who evaporates under the damage of the Tartarus Titans. A Nemesis ultimate tends to do that to you, as well as Aurora closing that gap. So able to get back some pressure, but it's Paul who dies in exchange for Inbound on the other side, mid for support. Oni Fury started up by the Tartarus Titans. This time, the Solar Scarabs looking to close that gap. Inbound sends the Nene cap in, and the Tartarus Titans take the Oni Fury away. No real answer from the Solar Scarabs, but the fight after might make a big difference here. Paul gets out of the powerhouse here, and Layers alone on the back line. The Tartarus Titans get the Fury, and they get a free pick on the end.
Both of these teams want to cut their losses at any given moment. Layers left high and dry. Now Zapman in the exact same position does regroup with Inbound, but Benji
give Layers a chance for big ultimates in these team fights. We're turned back to a state of farming here. Baronic has reached level 17, kept pace with Paul on this Tiamat. Now Layers looking for an engage on a Scary D. He's got one chain onto the Nemesis, who doesn't have beads, but the ultimate back onto Layers, and the damage from the Daji is enough to get it done this time. Aurora, no follow-up here. Benji cannot make his way around SOT, and it's a clean pick over to the Solar Scarabs jungler.
It is. Aurora tries to finish off that
net worth in the game by about 1,000 over his counterpart in Cyclone Spin. We know at this point, ad nauseum, we've talked about what this build can do on Heimdall. It's all about finding that uptime.
It sure is. Benji getting aggressive inside the soul lane.
Layers.
1 versus 2 and making it 2 versus 2. Aurora's in there. Up into the parallel goes Layers, maybe able to escape.
He is able to escape this time, but for how long? Scary D, Blink, oh, exchange with Layers. Zapman's there to save the day. Beautiful juggling by the Solar Scarabs, and Scary D falls for his efforts. Now it's the Solar Scarabs on the chase. Aurora with the stun onto SOT. Around the left side comes inbound. Benji with some range damage there being deflected back. Aurora's going to get caught out here. Paul providing plenty of damage from the Tiamat out of mid. They haven't been able to finish off the kill just yet, but SOT thanks them. Solar Scarabs find a quick 2.
They do, and the chase is not over quite yet. If Tartarus Titans stick around a little bit instead, it's going to be a peel back. We're looking at the most important neutral objective on the map. Fire Giant pulled out and already down to 90, 80%. 4 people stacked up. Titans on the defense.
No Aurora or Scary D here for this fight. Layers first on in, but look at the kiting backwards. Paul jumps in. Paul finds Layers. Big opening pick now for the Tartarus Titans. The Fire Giant, maybe an afterthought. The Solar Scarabs continue to chase it. Oh, Paul! Wow, what a play! He finds Zapman with the big damage on the backside, just shy of the double. Big damage from the Tartarus Titans. Benji cleans up that kill. That's a numbers advantage gone by the wayside for the Scarabs.
Let that be a lesson. Nobody steps up into Paul's jungle. Essentially turns that fight off.
Layers is back, dealing with these Tiamat minions. So for the time being, 5 members of the Tartarus Titans on this side of the map, only 4 of the Solar Scarabs. And look at the reply, storming in to the mid lane here. Benji caught out just a bit, though. He's separate from the rest of his team. The transformation canceled out. Benji just a bit overextended. The Somersault Cloud will buy a little bit of time and buy his life. So maybe the Tartarus Titans overzealous. The solo laner at least was. Half HP on the Sun Wukong, but no ult.
Benji plays that
to avoid the front line and the onslaught from the Tartarus Titans. Fire Giant seconds away from respawning here. Solar Scarabs are showing some face. Actives available for every single player in this game. First one gets used, and it's Blink from Aurora onto the backline. You think Veronic hasn't been able to play yet. This is why the Aegis, the Flicker, both used in Scary D will help finish off the first kill of the fight, and Benji gets rid of Veronic on the other side. The Tartarus Titans now chase down SOT, and it's all about picking up the scraps now. Tartarus Titans find 3.
They do, and they could find the Titan as well. Inbound, essentially wet paper right now. One more auto, gonna put him down. Cyclone Spin finds that one. Zapman going for the hero play, 1 versus 5. Best of luck, bud.
Yeah, Paul says no way. Rampaging is the Tiamat, and Rampaging are the Tartarus Titans. It looks like 30 minutes in, with a little assist from the tanks, this game will come to a close around the FG. We wondered, Mifflin, if the Scarabs would show face. They did, but the engage too strong from the Titans, the damage too much from Paul. 5-1-4 will be the midliner's final KDA.
Man, I said that the Scarabs might step up to defend, but they stepped up so early. The Titans essentially just hold W key and spearhead their way through the front line of the Scarabs, picking up kills.
Execution threshold type style that the Solar Scarabs need a little extra coordination to make work.
I think it's really down to the high execution that Aggro is alluding to is likely going to be inbound of this Yamoja, whether or not he's able to set up for his team throughout the early, and then Layers on this Awilish. I happen to agree with Aggro for maybe the first time ever in my career. They need to pull a lead in the early, and this is one way to do it! Aurora falling low, but as is inbound. Only one of them benefits from healing, though.
That's right, inbound can sustain up here. Miff, I have heard you say, Aggro said it perfectly on the cast at least 3 times.
Wasn't me. Must be confused.
So I'm, it was somebody else, right? It wasn't you, twin that I was casting with. I'm not going to try here, but inbound is able to sustain up throughout the initial onslaught of damage. Aurora reaches level 2 first, but Cyclone Spin, that means he's just a little bit behind here. If inbound chains up some CC, things could get dangerous. Aurora chaining up Zapman, though. The knockups running wild here in this lane. The body box from inbound just enough. You don't get to see this all that often, Miff, when the skirmishing, the dueling, the 2v2 really going hard for the kills.
Yeah, well, the 2v2 is going to need to go hard for the kills. If the Tartarus Titans can't finish them off, we're going to see exactly what we're seeing right now. Additional healing. Layers getting involved in mid. Could lose his life.
Portal! The portal! Scary D's got it all, Paul, on the Giannis. We didn't know how it would look. But I guess we get an idea now. The early start, and this is right what we wanted from the moment. Oh, he did it again from range. Scary D gets on in, gets himself a double, and the jungler's starting to feel himself a bit.
Yeah, Baronic hangs out a little bit too long there. Maybe forgets that the Blink wasn't forced to be used. Gotta keep utilizing this aggression throughout the early, and then make use of these heals to control the neutral objectives. Gold Fury and Pyromancer should be under pressure from the Solar Scarabs throughout the entirety of this match.
Whoa. Paul doesn't have a lot of mana here. Does he have enough for a single portal? He has enough for the ultimate. That'll take him beneath the tier 1 tower. CC immunity paying off here for Paul. SOT now jumped on by Scary D. Third kill around the corner, third kill in his pocket. Killing spree. 3 and some change in for Scary D.
Scary D finally getting his feet under him inside that jungle role, playing that facilitator, almost tanky, warrior-esque style as Finch was highlighting on the desk. This Robin could be a good fit for him inside the SPL. Let's see some more of it as Aurora moving forward, and as is Cyclone.
Another engage over here in duo. Zapman a few charges away of that Desert Fury from dying. But now the Jingwei is going to have to sustain up thanks, or with the help, I should say, of the Emoja. Scary D off to a roaring start here. 3 kills, but Myth, they're all spread out. One pressure over here on the right.
If anyone on the side of Solar Scarabs even decides to show remote amounts of phase to defend this purple buff, you better believe the Tartarus Titans are going to jump on them instantly. Instead, the Scarabs, rightfully so, elect not to go for it, but an engage in the solo, and a gravity surge should confirm the kill.
And Layers grabs that one on Benji, who tries to dash away, but no good. And Layers on the board now, both junglers putting pressure out all over this map. Cyclone spin, a couple extra chunks of damage that he didn't expect. But it was about time, right, Mifflin? It had to happen at some point. Layers had spent so much time lurking around on this right-hand side. Eventually, Benji was going to get a bit too far forward. And now the Awelix on the board. Not 3 kills like Scary D has. And now Scary D looking to make it
Maybe
4
4.
as an airstrike away, followed up. But the gap closed not enough, and Scary D doesn't have the blink to further get in range of Zapman. But these junglers, they are putting pressure everywhere.
The Scarabs got to get in there and get involved early. If the Tartarus Titans confirm it, well, the fight's going to go their way as well.
This time inbound is here. It's a double pull from Aurora, though. And the River's Rebuke will
Lord.
delay any further engagement. Inbound burned away. The Riptide just as far as Scary D, who takes the portal, trying to read the escape, and he's done so. Inbound, down, Scary D, 4 kills, SOT,
nice!
Push, Baronic, big snipe, but Excavate, not enough to get it done. Scary D with the double. And now rampaging 5 kills, excuse me, level 8, 7 minutes in.
Yeah, 100% kill participation and 100% of the kills as well. Baronic getting a little bit aggressive in mid, can't really do much there, but a nice turnaround kill with that snipe to at least put himself slightly in the lead, now but 1 level over Paul. And even though, so far, the Scarabs have been the root of all the aggression, it's been the Titans benefiting from these fights, I still think they have to go in aggressive. The Solar Scarabs cannot afford to let go of the gas pedal, or they're just going to become outscaled as the game goes on. So I like this continued aggression, and it continues in mid.
Whoa, Paul survives. Oh, that's devastating for the Scarabs, especially now that Scary D is going to get 2 more. My man's got 7 kills. 8 minutes into this game, it has been... we're not mincing words here, Mifflin. It has been a tough transition for Scary D. I know these Titans players, they will defend Scary D to the ends of the earth. You know, Scary, it's not like he's fed his brains out, anything like that. We have not seen this from Scary D at all. This is a man possessed. His big brother just took over on the keyboard or something. My man on a warpath right now. 11 in the levels department over Layers 8.
Look, I was a little bit glib on Twitter after Scary D's first week's performance in the SPL, joking that I was no longer the lowest KDA jungler in the SPL, and Scary D looking to clean it up, 7-0, maybe going for the 8th.
Going into this set, Scary D is 8, 20, and 12. He has 8 kills, 20 deaths, 12 assists. That's not a great KDA, right? So that's why we were waiting to see when this would start happening. Another kill over to Scary D. All right, Mifflin. So here's the big question: a Cyclone spin gets one on the inbound. My God, this is all falling apart at the seams now. If you're the Solar Scarabs, this is where you get to see like real, true solo carry potential, right? You've got 8 kills, no deaths, and a 3-level lead over your counterpart. Every once in a while, you might see a level, a couple of kills, something like that, you know, in solo lane or in mid lane, even in the jungle. I couldn't tell you the last time I've seen an 8 or a 7-kill lead and a 4-level lead over the enemy jungler 9-10 minutes into the game. There's got to be some way to stop this guy, but I don't know if it happens anytime soon.
When's the last time we saw 8 kills in 9 minutes full stop? SOT in some trouble. Scary D looking to confirm it. Yeah, don't take this one,
No!
Benji. Oh, you scumbag. We're trying to get the Immortal rolling out early on. Look, the Tartarus Titans at this point, I think it's pretty fair to say, can do just about no wrong. I want to see them group it up on the Pyromancer. I want to see them go into the Gold 3, take away this phase of the game where the Scarabs should be favored, but it is the Scarabs clearing out the Greater Scorpion on the Gold Fury side, but the more important objective, the Pyromancer itself, is getting started up by the Titans.
I mean, like, maybe there's a world where the Solar Scarabs do this. You send 3 or 4 on over to Duo.
Cyclone?
And Cyclone Spin will get pulled back. Zapman gets the kill. So Zapman a 1-level lead over Cyclone Spin. We're not going to compare that to the 3-level lead that still rings out in the jungle here. But maybe that's what you have to do here, Mifflin, if you're the Solar Scarabs. You have to send everyone somewhere to get a kill, and hope that in the meantime the Tartarus Titans aren't getting an objective for free. I'll pause on my hand back because the Gold Fury now started by the Solar Scarabs. There is some confirm with Baronic. The Searing Pain in the backline layers through the portal, layers goes down. Divine is Scary D. It was a gutsy call there from the Scarabs to pull the Fury and the Titans column on it.
Unfortunately for the Scarabs, I think it's the right call. They have to go for these Hail Mary.
They've died 12 times in 12 minutes. You know, we get surprised if we see 12 total kills in 12 minutes. 1 kill a minute is a fast-paced game, and that rarely all falls on one team to get it done on their own. Aurora, a bit overextended, but Scary D is here, and my man is searching for blood.
Stop.
Now it's Benji on the killing spree. If the Robin wasn't enough, now the Achilles has 3 straight kills here in this game, 4 assists. The right side of the map is desolate in my mind. If you said the Burrito Bowl is the most likely outcome, and unfortunately for Zapman, the death might be the most likely outcome, but he's able to dash away, nearly Paul clipping Zapman with that through space and time. Inbound is going to extend this fight out a little bit further. This is a big-time brawl if the Solar Scarabs can find anything.
Okay.
And unfortunately, they have to retreat, but there's a little bit of sustain from Baronic out of the mid lane.
Okay.
SOT will survive for a little bit longer. No deaths for the Solar Scarabs. Big win now for the blue team.
Yeah, that is a marked improvement on the last 20 fights we've seen this game. The Solar Scarabs maintaining their lives, but Benji going in 1 versus 5!
Oh, Benji gets locked down. SOT takes out the Achilles, and the Solar Scarabs on the board once again. And Zapman feeling confident. In goes the Jingwei. Scary D maybe just baiting in the rest. Remember, it's a 9-0 there. Let's rewind the clock to that and then copy and paste throughout the rest of this game. Things have been delayed. Look, Mifflin, if you're in a position where you need to delay the game and delay fights, you're going to want some sustain. You've got Ra and you've got a Yamoja. That is one way to keep yourself in these fights. And right now, Benji being targeted out by SOT and layers. Benji uses the Fatal Strike to survive, but inbound, beautiful Riptide back in. And now Benji dies a few times in a row after getting himself a killing spree, and Solar Scarabs on the hunt for
team. What was a 5,000 gold lead is a Hail Mary attempt at the Fire Giant. We've been calling for it the whole time, Dave. They have to.
And they're doing it so fast, it's down to half HP now. The Tartarus Titans, they're slow on the reply. It's Aurora who's forced into the Fire Giant pit. I'm not drinking, try to pull somebody. Fire Giant low, Scary D around the backside. Solar
They got it!
Get the objective. Now it's a pushback. SOT gets the kill. Onto Scary D. Searing Pain from Baronic flies through, but the health bar is middling at best now for the Tartarus Titans. Paul chasing down Zapman in the backline, and it's another big push. Solar Scarabs Mifflin. They're doing it. They got the pull back onto Aurora, and they'll find another kill.
Fire Giant on 4 members, 3 dead for 30 seconds on the side of the Titans. The entire gold lead is gone at this point. Only 1,000 in favor of the Chaos team. What a phenomenal
game. And the Scarabs on a miraculous turnaround have now taken the Fire Giant. They've taken a fight, but the Tartarus Titans not happy with that. The onslaught begins. Zapman has to use the airstrike out and away from Aurora, who had connected with a couple of chains there. Up, down from the 9-1. Scary D is inbound, tries to dodge somehow, but he will not survive this fight. Layers rejoins the fray, and in the backline, SOT will do that as well. Aurora only pulls back 1 Mifflin as Zapman continues to whittle away the health bars.
But SOT still draws breath, and he's looking for the pull. He finds Aurora, but a stun stops the driving strike just for a moment.
And on the back pedal now are the Solars and the Tartarus Titans lurking here. The Fire Giant yet again burning quickly. Benji trying to close the gap, looking for the steal, but no good. Solar Scarabs take the second FG of the game, and now the fight afterwards rages on. Scary D with a big rotation around the backside. Baronic and Zapman none the wiser. Pull back in onto Aurora. First kill over to the Solar Scarabs. Benji running away, but there is no fight to be had. The Scarabs get the FG, and they get the pick.
SOT just barely off the mark with the pluck for his team, but Fire Giant on 5 to go back to base. This is a huge up play for the Solar Scarabs. Keep going, work your way in. You still got 10 seconds left on Aurora.
I was wondering if Scary D was going to get a massive gank off in that previous
50%.
fight. Nowhere to be found. Half HP now. Onto the Phoenix. Zapman half HP as well. Dodges out a lot of the damage from Cyclone Spin.
Paul?
This SOT has pulled Cyclone back in. Layers off to the left. He'll dash away, but Scary D up, down. Jungle battle we have outside of the base, and Scary D wins this one. Zapman on the airstrike.
Phoenix.
Out and away from the Phoenix, but the Phoenix has died in the meantime. Zapman gets pulled back in. It's massive from Aurora, and then a big stun from Benji on the other side gives the Titans the legging they need here in this fight as SOT picks up the scraps.
SOT still full HP, doing it all for his team. 2 dead on the side of the Scarabs, and the Titans are looking to exploit it. Paul pulled in, and still no damage output from the Titans.
Baronic needs some healing here, but he won't get it. Now it's SOT and inbound, and there's just too much damage now still in this fight from the Tartarus Titans. SOT and inbound, they have to leave. You've gotten the right side Phoenix, but at what cost? You've gotten a kill onto Scary D. You might get decided. No stun onto inbound, but Mifflin, this is going to be a slow, long chase onto the tankiest members of the Scarabs.
All inbound has to do is buy a little bit of time, and I think he's already done enough. The Tartarus Titans will not have an opportunity to push in here. 5 seconds left on Layers, 10 seconds left on Zapman, and all
because of Scary D in the early game, and Solo or Troll has pulled this game back for the rest of his team with the rest of his team. This has been a group effort from everybody now on the Solar Scarabs. Inbound a bit caught out. It's a Rivers rebuke as Benji finds Zapman in the back. Uh-oh, the Jingwei feeling a little bit nervous. Aegis gets used here, and same with the airstrike, but Aurora with the chains cleans up the kill, but Layers is sold out. Cyclone Spin on the other side. No hunters in this fight. Searing Ping flies through from Baronic as Benji looking to get some cleave damage out on 3 members of the Solar Scarabs. SOT now tries to close the gap, assists the backline. Scary D has found the backline of the Solar Scarabs, but Layers will escape with an inch of his life, but it's a big pull now. Does Layers have a chance? No, he doesn't. Aurora has 2 kills in this fight. The Tartarus Titans come surging back.
Finally able to split up this engagement for the Solar Scarabs. Inbound caught out initially and forces his team to split up. Zapman left high and dry results in a lost engagement. 4 dead on the side of the Scarabs, but only 1 still standing, and it's the hero. Can he tie up his cape and keep the game alive for just a moment longer? He's so tanky.
Zapman, he'll respawn here in 10
Is
seconds.
it winning this?
SOT might actually get the kill onto Scary D. Beads get used, and SOT will burn away slowly here, and it's Benji now back on a killing spree. And a deicide for the Tartarus Titans 30 minutes in. How many times do you think the Titans have canceled, uncanceled?
Zapman knows better than to step up into the territory of the Tartarus Titans. Enhanced Fire Giant finally going the way of the Chaos team. And the gold lead starting to eke slowly back into their favor as well. What was 5,000 just a moment ago in favor of the Scarabs is now closer to 2. But
Zapman.
Paul has been struggling with Zapman all game!
Wow, Zapman! He's gone in 3 separate times! He keeps going in, and now he's all sorts of caught out here as Cyclone Spin grabs the kill. Zapman thought he could get one onto Paul, but instead the Tartarus Titans get one onto Zapman. And Mifflin, that is a long team as the left side Phoenix falls. Fire minions falling in place in the mid lane as well. It's a right side Phoenix now exposed. The Titans can take that with ease should they please.
10 seconds left on the Enhanced Fire Giant. They're going to have to do it quickly or collect the wave if they don't want to deal with this backdoor protections. The Solar Scarabs are trying to bring the fight in now.
Oh my god, Paul with a massive through space and time deletes Baronic from the map. This is the fight that the Titans have been looking for. It's a long time coming, but it looks like the Titans may have the legs to win this game. Instead, Layers gets a kill over on the Cyclone Spin. SOT melting away the health bars as well. Zapman dealing with the fire minions, and it's going to all be down to Zapman at the end of the day. The Tartarus Titans in 35 minutes turn around, unturn around, and then turn the game right back around. And game 2 will go to them.
Talk about a game of throws, badminton, tennis, volleyball, whatever, where you toss it back and forth, Dave. That was a treat.